What's up, you badass deadites, and welcome back to the Lucid Nightmare. I'm your host, as always, Jay Schatzer, and today it's time for a quickie and a video that I said I was going to make if you guys wanted me to do it, and that was going to be my thoughts on the new Evil Dead Rise movie that came out. I saw it on Monday and wanted to give myself some time to kind of let it all sink in, because for some reason I have a very distinct reaction, and it's not always the best reaction when I come out of these Evil Dead movies, just because I'm a huge fan of the original. But yeah, I got my the original Evil Dead poster up for this one, and I got this little guy right here. Come get some. But yeah, how do I even start this? Let's just say, all right, let's start with the 2013 remake when it came out. My initial reaction to that one, I was not too happy when I came out of the theater. There was certain aspects of the movie that I wasn't a big fan of. For one is I'm a sucker for the just traditional deadite eyes, the white soulless eyes. I think it's a distinct feature for these main antagonists, and it's a trademark to the Evil Dead series. But I kind of got over that as the years went by and revisited the movie a few times, and I kind of, in my mindset now, I put it in a whole nother category. It's another universe in the Evil Dead series, because you can't really call it an official Evil Dead movie if it doesn't have Bruce Campbell in there, Sam Raimi behind the lens, and Joseph DeLuca, I believe his name is, doing the music. So that all those elements are in play in the original The Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn, and Army of Darkness. And I think that those three movies are essentially Evil Dead, the Evil Dead series. 2013, oh, and I guess Ash vs. Evil Dead is an offshoot of that, but it still doesn't have all those elements. But it has it in the first episode. I guess Sam Raimi directs it, but the 2013 is just like a whole different beast. It's missing all of those elements, but it does have the qualities of the setting with the cabin. I did enjoy the switch, the little twist that they had with that Mia character being going cold turkey on drugs. So the kind of blending of, is she just acting crazy because she's going through withdrawals, or is it because she's possessed? Yeah, and just like, it was a great movie, but when I left the theater for the 2013 one, I was a little salty. I was being like a snobby critic, and I didn't appreciate it because it strayed from the Eyes version, and also I didn't enjoy the aspect of adding rules to it, because I thought that was too modern horror, where you have to have a set of rules and this is what happens, and it spells too much out for you. And I think the Evil Dead series is kind of the best when it's ambiguous and just weird and strange, and doesn't really need to hold your hand through anything. But I know they're trying to do it for new modern audiences, so I learned to love the movie and appreciate what it had to offer, and I enjoy it as part of an offshoot of canon, but I don't see it as official Evil Dead. That's the first three movies, and a bit of Ash vs. Evil Dead, because I think they carried on the story nicely. But that moves us on to the new movie, Evil Dead Rise, that came out. Like I said, watched it Monday with a bunch of friends. Came out of the theater, and I was going to do an initial reaction to it, but one, I was tired as hell, and two, I couldn't wrap my head around it, what I thought. It was really weighing on me if I liked it, if I didn't like it, or if I liked it. It was just, it's tough for me, these Evil Dead movies, because they're so close to my heart. I mean, this is the reason I have this collection behind me, is because I fell in love with the Evil Dead 2, and then found out, well, I mean, I guess I knew because it was Evil Dead 2 that there was this original one. But was blown away, went to, I think it was like Real Entertainment or some Video USA rental place, and rented the VHS and watched the shit out of it, and absolutely loved it. Then picked up the VHSs on my own. and threw Army of Darkness in there as well. And just from there, I kind of went on a horror genre journey where it led me to all kinds of oddities. And so it means a lot to me, the series, and I think it has just a distinct flavor that I kind of get defensive if it's messing with it or turning it into something else that it's not. But and just those three elements that I mentioned, if they're not in it, it just doesn't feel like it has the heart and soul of what I fell in love with the original Evil Dead series. But yeah, like, my opinions, I mean, I'll give you my brief opinions of it, and then I'll kind of let you know if I'm going to be spoiling it if you guys don't want to know like the details and things that I picked up on or didn't like, or liked or didn't like, and stuff like that. But my general consensus is that I enjoyed the movie a lot, but a lot of those things that I mentioned before that are missing were kind of holding me back from really loving it, I guess. So I think it's an excellent movie. Great cast. The location, I like the location. It reminded me of Demons and the Italian 80s crazy possessed flick. Yeah, like, there was the music was good, but it wasn't as memorable as the originals. There wasn't different scores that kind of stuck out to me, but I have to watch it a second time just to let it sink all in. But and it pays a lot of homage to the original series in a different parts. I mean, stuff that I enjoyed, but then stuff I was just like, are we just running through the motions and giving remember berries out, for people to be like, oh yeah, that line was said by Ash, and oh yeah, that's how the evil possesses Cheryl in the original. It's just like, I guess I'm so protective of the property that it runs a fine line of being like, hey, let's start doing something new. If we're going to branch this stuff out, let's not keep recalling back to what happened in the original franchise. But I mean, that's the thing. It wasn't bad. It's just, I'm so sensitive about that kind of stuff, and it kind of took me out of it. I'm like, all right, yeah, you said the line, whoop-de-doo, But, yeah, but overall, I enjoyed the movie a lot. Like I said, I'm going to need to watch it a second time just to kind of wrap my head around things. And there was a lot of stuff I was surprised that I liked that I don't usually like, but I can get more in depth about that in the spoiler kind of section. But maybe I should just go into different specifics now. So I guess spoilers ahead, ahoy! Watch out if you don't want it spoiled, but I think a lot of people that are going to watch it have already watched it. But just in case, I'm going to go into a little more detail about certain scenes and different things that happen. But I guess I'm going to go while my mind's on it right now, is that usually I hate kids in movies, in horror movies, because you can only go so far, and if you do go too far, it just feels exploitative, and it's a gut reaction. Of course, kids don't or you don't want to see kids get hurt, so that's an easy thrill or an easy scare for people, the audience, and I think that's kind of cheap and stupid. But I didn't feel that it was cheap and stupid in this one. They set it up nicely, let you know the family dynamics and everything that's going on. I'm trying to think that the age group of all the kids are all over the place, but the youngest one did a really good job with her character. She wasn't too I don't even know how to, like, worldly or something. Like, these kids like don't play their roles as kids in most of these movies, but she seemed like a believable child. And some of her one-liners and just stuff that you saw in the trailer that she says, like, you're gonna be a good mom, you can really lie to kids and stuff like that, acted out well. But in the situations that were going on, I mean, you'd be traumatized and wouldn't be able to even speak, let alone say funny quips and stuff like that. But I mean, that hardly bothered me. But it's weird because it's like the tone that they're going for is not the tone of Evil Dead 2, so it's not a lot of slapstick. There's a lot of serious moments where the fear is supposed to be real and the possession is real, and grotesque and off-putting and horrific, because you're watching family members attacking you, and you don't know what to do, if you can save them or save yourself by killing them, because they're going to just rip your throat out in seconds. A lot of tension in there, and I don't know if a lot of that stuff worked for me personally, but I think watching it over and over again, I'll get used to it. But just a gut reaction when I first watched it, I'm like, whatever. But oh, where do I go next? Well, like the origin of, I kind of grazed over it a little bit, is just the origin of how the possessions and everything starts. I thought it was really cool with the record player, finding the record player, and then the Book of the Dead, which I like the director said that the book is the third book that's in Army of Darkness. So the 2013 has its own separate book. That's the second book. And then the original series has the first Book of the Dead. So all three of these ones have different stories and kind of paths that they go on. But yeah, that's they find the book, and then 3 different records, and one of them plays the incantation kind of thing that awakens the evil and takes over the mother. And that whole scene with the elevator kind of mirrored the tree scene with Cheryl, minus the rape scene, I guess. But yeah, it was interesting, weird, and odd, and like the end result where she's all being pulled and stuff was creepy and unsettling, and just you felt very sorry for her, because I didn't really know much when I was watching the trailer, like how I would feel about these different characters. It just seemed like a lot of them might be unrelatable, but then once you watch the movie, you get to see their setup. She's a single mother struggling. She's always there for her other sister, who's always kind of on the road. She's a groupie following bands, or a technician. And so she was the very rock of that family and her sister. So the loss of her was just felt through all of the characters. And you felt sorry for her because she was a genuinely good human being who was a great mother, and then she's just possessed. And she knocks it out of the park as both just a sympathetic character and then being just this what the hell's wrong with me? Demonic creature, where she is just very seductive. I think I'm losing my mind. She's very sinister, let's just say. I can't say what I'm trying to say, but she does a great job, because you believe both the different personalities there, and she goes all in. She does an amazing job. I mean, I think everyone does an amazing job, even characters that I didn't think I'd like the one daughter, the older daughter that's gonna go to a protest and stuff, and I thought they were gonna bring woke stuff into it, but it was just kind of her lifestyle, and they just go over it, and she was okay. I mean, she was a good character, and I felt sympathy for her eventually towards the end when things really start going crazy. But yeah, they just do these kids wrong. they put them through the ringer, and it wasn't something where I was like off-putted like I usually am with kids in horror movies. But when they first announced it, I'm like, why do you have to put kids in Evil Dead? Just put the adults in there and just beat the shit out of them. But whatever. I think it was a good story that was original in a lot of its parts, but still held on to some of that core factor that makes Evil Dead. But I think some of those core factors that they kept might have held it back from being a better movie than it turned out to be, because it almost used it as a crutch. There's a lot of callbacks. She gets the shotgun and says, "Come get some." I don't know about you, but me, in this movie, I'd like to imagine that they don't know anything about the Evil Dead world. I don't think anyone's going to grab a shotgun and say, "Come get some." That's something you would say from knowing Ash in the Evil Dead. But they throw it in there. It's cheesy, whatever. I guess it's Evil Dead. But also the dead. But this scene was cool. The all these different possessed people are in the hallway, and the girl, the sister and her niece, littlest niece, are trying to get into the elevator, and the elevator's acting all wonky. And all the possessed people are just chanting, "Dead by dawn, dead by dawn," and laughing. It's just really demonic, and that's a really awesome and cool scene, which did remind me of Demons a little bit. But I'm trying to think of what other callbacks and stuff there were. But there is a Bruce Campbell cameo, but it's just in audio form. He is one of the priests that you can hear in the background in one of the recordings where they're saying, "Destroy the book, it's pure evil, don't you see?" And I guess he's the one that's one of the guys yelling that, which I did something triggered in me. I'm like, why does that voice, something sounds familiar about that one. It sounded very campy Evil Dead, and that was the magic there pouring through from the original, which is sorely missing in this one, but I enjoyed it. But there are stuff that I just was a little off-putted by. The beginning, I was very worried. It starts out, it's a tracking shot of the evil going through this kind of valley or river area, and the credits are moving, like animated credits are coming through, and it looked exactly like Jumanji, and I was like, fuck. I was like, we're screwed, because I was really worried. There was no old school aesthetic to any of that. It was just straight up modern bullshit, and I'm like, damn it. And then it goes into this scene by the lake, and the characters were okay, but then they bring a drone into it, and I coming off of thinking this Shudder original movie called Drone, which is so stupid and cheesy, and just modern stuff like that really gets to me in movies. I'm like, no, get the drone out of here. And the drone kills somebody, and these blades aren't going to do that to anyone. It took me out of it, and I didn't like that beginning scene. I don't think they needed to put it. I think we should have just went right into the kids, or right into the family, getting to know them. You don't need a bookend, or a beginning and an end to bookend the story. You don't really need that shit. And they did that in the 2013 too, with the burning girl and the father's burning her alive. And we don't need that beginning. Just put us into the story like they did in the original Evil Dead. We're just driving down a road with the group. The second one, we're driving with Ash and his girlfriend. Army of Darkness, of course, just flows right from the next one, but you don't need to have these bookends. I don't really know. They don't have anything to do other than tying a little bit of the story together in this one, and it just took me out of it. So, but I mean, that's stupid shit. But I guess the credits, the opening title was kind of cool with her rising above there, but I was worried at that point, so I wasn't really taking it all in. But what else? The concept of, at the very end, the concept where all the different bodies that were been possessed to start morphing together into six-armed creature or something like that. That was cool in concept, and a lot of the faraway shots and things like that really worked when it was used sparingly. But then the very end, when she's chainsawing it and it's looking directly at the camera, something looked off, like the CGI on it or something. I'm not aware if it was practical or not. I imagine a lot of it was practical, but something about that shot, and I don't know if it's just because the director doesn't have a stylized kind of way to move around the camera like Sam Raimi does, but yeah, it was something just off-putting of that solid shot of it looking forward while being cut. It just looked fake to me, and I'm like, is it CGI or practical? You couldn't even tell, and I don't like to even think those questions at a finale where it's supposed to be really awe-inspiring or just like, whoa, what the hell's going on? But yeah, I mean, those are just tiny little things that I picked out on it, and for the most part, I thought it was really enjoyable. I like the concept. I like the way that they were secluded in, I don't know if they were on the 6th floor or something like of the apartment building, but I kind of like the whole idea that it was about to be demolished, this building. They only had a month left before it was going to be demolished, so it wasn't in the best repair. So they were able to be isolated when the earthquake hits, and then there's all those floors are kind of cut off from each other, and the stairwell sinks in. And there wasn't a lot of modern stuff that you would see, like cell phones and things like that. A lot of problems, but there's a lot of cool ways that they kept it out of a modern day time period where it felt like it could have been taking place most any time, except for that damn drone. Get that drone out of there. But yeah, thought it was pretty cool. Definitely gonna see it again when it comes out. I'm gonna put it in the collection for sure, just because it was a good movie. But like I said, I am such an Evil Dead fan. Just the aesthetic and tone and atmosphere of it, that anything that strays from it, I don't know. It loses its flavor, even though it's an amazing film. It loses the Evil Dead flavor that was the 3 magic combo of the music, direction, and Bruce Campbell in there doing his thing. So you can't really do that with everyone. They're doing their own thing. Bruce is getting too old for it. But yeah, you just can't recapture that. So it's just it feels like a retread of something I've already seen, but without the magic that made it amazing. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm hoping you guys leave a bunch of comments. Just let me know what you thought about it. It's just a weird movie for me. Just to continue that series is just weird for me because I just love the original so much. So it's hard for me to kind of watch it. Like, I try to watch it as an outsider of all that stuff and just be open and let things in. But yeah, it's tough. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But guys, that is it for me today. Hope you enjoyed that one, and I hope you like what I'm doing here. If you do, please like and subscribe. And if you have time, leave a comment below because I love hearing from you guys. But until then, I will see you the next time I'm in front of a camera talking about movies. See ya, stay safe, and get the hell out of here. Go on, get